who has burnout, the productivity will go low, Mr. Speaker. Even International Labour Organization under the European chapter has agreed with me on the right to disconnect, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this is an international issue. It's not a local issue. I want to bring to the attention of the House, Mr. Speaker, where we are saying right to disconnect is a very important right under the evolving. And my brother, Senator Stewart Manzai, who is our revered and respected senior leader and minority leader, is a former judge of Labour Court. And he knows, Mr. Speaker, that some of these disputes is because of mental depression, Mr. Speaker. You have seen police killing each other. I don't want the Kenyan police, I'm saying some elements in police killing because of mental breakdown, the stress, the burnout. And Senator Amida Kibwana had brought even a motion, Mr. Speaker, that we are still discussing on the floor of the House. Because of mental breakdown, burnout, because we are deranged, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the 50th point that I wanted to make is these international organizations. France, other countries, Mr. Speaker, have done right to disconnect. Even in Portugal, Mr. Speaker. Let us respect, and I want to say this, Mr. Speaker, the environment is changing from the traditional office, where you go to your desk and work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Mr. Speaker. We now need to shift our focus to remote working environment. And I know that the correct person, and it will assist even people living with disabilities to be able to work at the convenience, because most of the government offices, Mr. Speaker, do not have friendly access or PWDs in the Republic. And therefore, this right, I know where Senator Ledama stayed for some time, Mr. Speaker, there is a debate in the US about this bill. I would have expected the US, where Senator Ledama stayed, and might have borrowed these political strategies from there, Mr. Speaker. And you remember, many people don't know that Senator Ledama at one point did want to run for presidency before. I don't know whether that dream is still there. But where he stayed in the US, Mr. Speaker, but I want to advise him to join us. He might have his dream realized in this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, but after you. So he should also make sure he behaves on the order, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cheregei, can you conclude your comments, please? So
I'm concluding, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you should even be adding me time, because I'm putting you on a proper trajectory of your future or national power. So, Mr. Speaker, that is what I was saying, that there are many countries of serious economies, largest economies, are buying this idea of right to disconnect. Colleagues and friends, this bill will be a life changer. This bill will transform. This bill will protect our right to family. This bill will ensure everybody, Mr. Speaker, is respected. This bill will ensure the growth and respect of the huge labor rights across the country. This bill of right to disconnect does not mean kupiga sherehe to avoid working, but you must show the performance. And this bill, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, is to ensure, Mr. Speaker, when you engage through the email, through the SMS, through any virtual engagement in the remote working environment virtually, your employer must compensate you the same as overtime when you sit beyond working hours in an office, Mr. Speaker. And I hope the National Assembly will agree with me and allow this bill to be signed by His Excellency the President, Dr. William Ruto, and therefore effectively amending the Employment Act and giving Kenyans an opportunity. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I want to thank your office, has been of help, the Secretariat led by the clerk, the Committee of Labor and Social Welfare. I've seen the Vice Chair, Senator Mbugwa, and a number of chairs. Mr. Speaker, they have been supportive. Your office has been very supportive and vital in, and many other people who they have given, the Kenyans who either have given virtually or in physical, that they support, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, as I reply, I request that under the standing orders 66, if I'm correct, standing order? 66, I thought Mr. Speaker, he wanted to, anyway, I don't want to say, it's understanding order 66, Mr. Speaker. I request that the putting of the question for division be deferred until appropriately guided by the House. With those opening remarks, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to reply.
Thank you. Division on that